Hello, everybody. Welcome to Menorca Consciousness Group for another live chat. Today's guest is very beautiful Veronica Jenkins, who, it goes without saying for most people what do know her, is absolutely amazing. Working so hard to help so many people in the spiritual movement across the world, every day, non-stop. Helping all of us move forward, and also helping to advance the knowledge and information and wisdom of spiritual matters. So I've got to confess, I really enjoy speaking with Veronica when we get together. Rare opportunity, because she's always busy, like a lot of people in this space. Everybody seems to be busy, and when we try to get together ourselves, we're adjusting our calendars to make it happen, but we've made it happen. In today's session, what we're going to be speaking about, it will be Veronica's new book, which will be The Totem Animals, which is written and produced, and it's out there at the moment. And then we'll be going on to spiritual matters and discussing whatever ripens all things spiritual. Possibly AI will be mentioned. We just mentioned it very briefly. So that will probably come up. But also possibly different areas, different aspects of mediumship, the spirit world, the spirit planes, etc., etc. So I'd just like to say a lovely warm welcome to Kay Weezy Jones, aka Dr. Priya Ratner. Thanks for joining us. Lovely to have you guys with us. Is it Kay or Car Woodland, Donna Ray, June Pino, and Charlene Shaz? Hi, Shaz. Thank you so much for joining us. I think you've timed it perfect. It can be an interesting chat. So without any further ado, but just before I do, it will come up, just before I do invite Veronica onto the platform or stage, or I don't know, studio, whatever it is these days. Just want to say you can find and contact Veronica at Online Psychic Services and find me in Medium and Online Spiritual Church Services. So, and Rebecca Wheeler. Oh, have I said hello to Rebecca? I think so. Anyway, I'd like to introduce and bring Veronica Jenkins on. Thank you so much, everybody.
Hi, Colin. Hi, everyone.
Hi, Veronica. Thank you so much for joining us and taking the time. I know you're so busy.
No, I always have time for you, Colin.
That's so sweet. It's like, I was just saying, it's like when we try to get together, you know, everybody in the spiritual space is so busy, and then we try to arrange a time.
Oh, it's a disaster. But we're here now.
That's right. It's like, can we do it? It's like, what night is it? What time is it? Okay, yeah, let's just go for it. It's always funny. Thank you so much for joining us. So, first things first, I have introduced you as all the things what you're doing in your online spiritual church services, Find Me a Medium, etc. And the amount of years you've been involved in this space is incredible. And of course, your wisdom and information. Well, I've got to be careful, haven't I? So, but the book, and then because it follows on, you were saying this. There we go. So, Universal Spirit. You had to hold it a bit longer than that so people can see it. Oops, hang on. There you go. Universal Spirit, Totem Animals.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Love the front picture, by the way.
Actually, the AI has done me a sterling job with the images. Aren't they beautiful?
That looks really amazing.
Absolutely beautiful.
Aren't they just? So,
I mean, you have to sort of keep telling it that you want the certain kind of background to the image, or you know, the images need to be different in certain ways, but you get used to how it works, and they're beautiful
so
images.
AI assisted.
Absolutely.
This is it, isn't it?
I'm not an artist. I have the ideas, I have the concepts. I can do spirit art only because spirit is doing it through me. It's not me that's drawing it. And then same way with the totem animals. I have a concept, but I can't draw it. So AI can, so why not?
Do you know, it's funny because I was saying to Ava, because for many years I used to get images of a certain, like when I'm designing or thinking of spirals and energies. And for years I thought, oh, I really could do with somebody or could take it out of my mind and bring it into reality. Because the way it looks in our own mind is different, isn't it? And
Absolutely.
to be fair, AI is doing quite well at doing that, as much as I've got whatever I've got about AI.
I know, and the more that you work with individual ones, the better it gets, because it attunes itself to you, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And it knows the kind of things that you're expecting out of it. Yeah. So the more that you work with it, the better it is. Same as everything in life. The more that you work with it, the better it gets.
Classic.
It's like that.
It's not rocket science, is it?
No.
So the book, the Totem Animals. Do you want to tell us briefly, kind of, I don't know, why you was drawn to do the book? Why you was inspired? How come you was inspired? What set it off?
What set it off was my first book, the Awakening book.
Yeah.
Okay, it's Universal Spirit Awakening. And that takes you, as we've discussed, through the history of what spirit is, how humanity has viewed the Holy Spirit, how humanity has viewed our connection with God, who is God, what is God, etc., etc. It takes you through exercises, and it sort of helps you on that awakening journey. And it's just for people coming into it, although it is aimed at that, but there's a lot of people who have gone in at the mediumship level and not actually looked at the fundamentals before that. So it was looking at that as well.
Yeah.
But one of the things that once I'd finished that, I realized is that the exercises, not bland, but there wasn't a key in for people to those exercises. Right. There's mention of using tarot cards and things like that. Now, not everybody is sort of into tarot cards because history-wise, it's seen as a cult and negative and all the rest of it, which is absolutely rubbish. The brilliant tools. Correct. So at the end of the day, it's all tools, isn't it? Same as AI, it's a tool.
Yeah.
So I thought, right, what I need to do is look at a tool that would be an awakening tool for people. Okay. I've always had an affinity with animals. Growing up, I always said to my mum and dad that I wanted to be a vet. My mum's comment was, well, you couldn't be a vet because you couldn't kill an animal. And obviously part of the role of a vet is when an animal's in distress and not going to survive is to put it down. And I would never be able to do that.
Interesting, isn't it, that one?
Yeah. And through my life, I've had this affinity to animals. I've had cats, dogs, gerbils, rabbits, you name it. I haven't had a parrot. So I've had this affinity with animals, and since I was 18, I've been a vegetarian, and the last 10 years, I actually took the full step to being a vegan as well. And that for me has always been about animal welfare, and they've got as many rights as I have. We're a spirit in a physical form in this physical world, and who am I to say that you can't survive and I can? So that's part of my thinking behind the animals thing. And I know that a lot of people are interested in animals, and human history goes back, eons with animals. Yeah. You can go back to the Druids, you can go back to ancient Egypt. Whichever human journey you go back on, you find animals as part of that journey. So I thought, what better to help people on their spiritual journey than totem animals? And that's where the books come from. So I've got 129 different animals from all across the world.
Yeah.
Animals that are fictional, like the Sphinx. You know, it's a fictional animal, but it's still totem because it has so much symbolism in it. And as such, it has meaning. People are drawn to it, or they can draw that animal out and use the energies that are aligned with that animal to help them on their journey. There's things like the Moby Dick, fictional animal. I did look at putting in some of more recent ones, like the Harry Potter ones and things like that, but they're still under copyright, so I couldn't.
Okay, got you.
But like White Rabbit, Alice in Wonderland, it's out of copyright, it's in there.
Yes.
Edgar Allan Poe's Raven, out of copyright, it's in there. Because they're archetypal animals that they already come with the knowledge, a human perception of what they're about. And that's what the book's about, helping you on your journey with that.
Amazing. It sounds absolutely amazing. And I love the fact you've put 129, did you say?
129.
129. Perfect. Because it's for me, when I first came into spiritualism, and there was a moment where I became aware of a certain animal guide in meditation. So that opened my awareness to that side of things, and others since then. So I think it's really beneficial because everybody likely who's working with spirit are going to have animal protectors coming around them, etc., bringing their different aspects like you've referred to. But also what we're seeing now is the shift and the movement forward of more animal communication. Absolutely. Which I absolutely love. I just love the concept, not the concept, it's not a concept, it's a reality. I love the reality of it. So the book is, all you can say is it's just so beneficial for people and their spiritual path, especially you go, okay, there's somebody out there, they're in a course or they're in a class, they're in a meditation, all of a sudden they see an animal and you go, whoa, okay, what does this mean? It's like, okay, I wonder if Veronica's got it in her book. Okay, now I've got to get the book, read what's going on. Right, now I've got more of awareness of this animal and what's going on with me. I love this cycle of how we do it.
Tanya, I don't know what the echo is down there, but Tanya's saying that's an uneven number. Why not 130? I can go up to 130 because I am putting these into cards as well. It's just taking me forever because the original images the definition isn't right for the program that I'm using to put them into awakening cards. So I can have up to 130, but I wasn't drawn to that 130th, and I'm still kind of looking for it. It was, when I first published the book, in this book there's only 127, but I have added 2 more to it because of people saying, well, have you got? And Robin, why didn't I add a Robin?
A Robin. Of all things, a Robin. You missed the Robin out.
I missed Robin out. So the Robin's one of the extra ones.
Well, that's a classic one, isn't it?
I'm still looking for that 130th. So if somebody's got that 130th that I haven't got in there so far, I'm quite willing to update it and put it in. And maybe that's one of the reasons we haven't managed to get the cards done, because the world's saying to me, wait for the last one.
Tanya, I think you just got your answer. A good question as well. Lovely to have you with us, and to Leona and Linda Swan, etc. Thank you all for joining us from New Zealand. Hi, Linda. Thanks for joining us. Amazing stuff. Leona McAvoy. What's both of your views on football? Oh, I presume you got fairies in the book. Is it an animal?
No, I haven't got fairies. I have not got fairies. The people that work with fairies will be familiar with the different vibrations that they work on. So fairies are a whole new class of beings. You can't encapsulate fairies as one individual being. But saying that, there is the puka, which is kind of a fairy type being from Ireland. So, yeah.
Shall we take this question? Do you want to take this question?
About the fairies?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, for me,
let's go for it.
For me, it's a bit like the totem animals themselves. People will believe that animals themselves are the essence of the animal, okay? And there's some subtle difference between the actual and the essence of.
Yeah.
And that's the same with the fairies. If you're looking at the essence of the fairy, it's on a vibration, it's on a understanding, it's on a whole spiritual connectedness, and our brain interprets it as that. And with the totem animals, your brain will interpret the vibrations that you're sensing and put it together as an animal, and that's the nearest thing that would encapsulate what you're experiencing. It's not that it's an animal per se, because you know, when you're in spirit, you're spirit. You're neither human, you're not human, you're neither animal, you're not animal. You're spirit. It's a different type of being altogether. And therefore the physical world is one thing and the spirit world is another thing. And fairies are a vibration from the spirit world, and spirit animals are vibrations for a spirit world that our brains interpret in a certain way. And that's my understanding of that. Whether it's right or wrong, I don't know, but that's my understanding.
No, it's beautiful. I like it. It's perception, isn't it? Because everything is perception. We know everything is an appearance to our own mind, i.e. we perceive whatever we perceive, we can say is as a direct result, doesn't exist from its own side. So we're perceiving something as a vibration, vibrationally speaking. Fairies, I would say to Leona, definitely for me they exist, 100%. I'm going to say it, I have seen them, okay? Nutri-Fairies was in the Fairies Garden today and was really interested in it. So I put them, beautiful, I hope you had a beautiful time, Leona. I literally put them in grouped them as the elementals with elves, etc., and all this type of these energies. Now then, there's a very interesting story because, well, it's not a story, it's a fact. And it's probably why, let's share it anyway. Some of you might have heard of it before. Iceland, the country of Iceland, they have a special rule regarding fairies and elves, believe it or not. In fact, you can go over there and you can visit the elf centre and the fairy centre in one part of Iceland. And it's an official kind of organisation. Anyway, so what happens is they believe the elves are actually guiding them in certain areas to such a degree that if there's any building or construction planned to go in a certain location and that building or construction starts having too many mistakes or going wrong, they perceive it as the elves telling them not to build in that location. And they'll shut down that project to move it. And this is real. This is not a story. This is not like Cloud Cuckoo Land. This is in Iceland, and they've got something what's called the Hafnarfjord elves. And it fascinated, when I was there, it absolutely fascinated me how they didn't just believe in it, they work with it in such a material, physical way. You know, I mean, try that in England or anywhere else. So for me, it's a big part of the elementals, which are And of course, you've got others in, we associate them with nature spirits, etc. In Buddhism, they've got different terms and terminologies for nature spirits. And when they're doing sessions, they'll pacify some of the nature spirits what might want to intrude or, try and interrupt the prayers or meditations, etc., or the pujas, what they call them, or the ceremonies. So there's a lot of prayer in order to pacify the elemental side of energies. So it's really interesting talking about the fairies. Anyway, that's my quick take on it. So good question, Leonie. Yeah.
That actually echoes the whole thing with the totem animals, because you get many cultures, such as the Native American Indians, that wouldn't do anything without their totem animal, either personal or the society that they belong to's permission and approval to do things. So that is quite common throughout human societies going through in the past. So absolutely
interesting, Veronica, because I remember years ago the story where with the Native American Indians, they would, in order to survive, obviously they was eating certain beings, and they would always pray. They would never take more, and they would always pray for the soul of the animal which they was about to take in order to survive, and you go, this is really fascinating, this. Right then, I was okay, Leon. Wow, thank you, Colin. I'm new to the fairies, so I'd like to explore a little more into it too. We've been to the Aran Islands and went to see the leprechauns and their little tiny house. I was amazed. I'd love to explore the elves too. Leona, Iceland. There's an official place here you can go visit, the Elf Centre in Iceland, Hafnarfjord Helps. So beautiful subject. So next one then. Sticking with the animals and the totems, like you say, Veronica, all the indigenous peoples around the world over the centuries past all seem to have some kind of affinity to the animal kingdom. Absolutely. And we know there was, we're living in a technological world, so-called modern society. I think that's questionable these days, modern. Have we modernized mentally? I don't know. But we know we're advancing spiritually. So in them days, we didn't have the TVs, etc., what we've got. So it's naturally, we was more in tune with nature and working with nature, even 50, 100 years ago. So going back generations and generations to the indigenous tribes and peoples, their connection with spirit, nature, and the animal kingdom must have been amazing.
It was a lot stronger. If you go to Australia and the Aboriginal culture over there, it's only been in recent years, the last couple of 100 years, that shifted away from their understanding of animals and their role within society because of the change in culture and society over there. So it's not thousands of years ago, it's hundreds of years ago, and it's through modern culture that if you look at Europeans taking over indigenous populations, we wiped out whole societies that had a real deep spiritual knowledge and understanding and belief system, and they were decimated by the European culture, unfortunately.
This is Marion. Hi, Marion. My new house is built upon historic Charles Dickens land. Do the spirits understand that I didn't make the builders build homes here, but I do feel lucky to live on the land? Go on, Veronica. You can. I'm laughing for a reason, Marion.
Go on then.
Yes, they do. They certainly understand. Don't worry about it, Marion. And you are lucky, obviously. You have such enlightened energy in the ether, or in that space of the ether, in the etheric field in that area. So they will. Spirit don't think in these terms. To be quite honest, they'll be more concerned that somebody is there who's got a good heart and a good mind, and taking care of whatever energy is in that location, building wise, nature wise, etc. That would be my take on it. What about yourself, Veronica?
Yeah.
There you go.
It's, spirit is concerned about spirit, not the physical world.
Yeah.
It just concerns ourselves about the physical world. Obviously, the issue within that is what we're doing to the earth with global warming and plastics and all the rest of it. But no,
Marian's just saying there's still a lot of beautiful countryside around. You know what, Marian? The fact that you are so considerate and mindful of this is a benefit in that energy there anyway. So that's the beauty of it, to be honest. Developers. Anyway. So, yeah, I wouldn't worry whatsoever. I wouldn't be concerned. And I think you're probably going to have a lot of people from the other side, from the light, being around you. So, Namira, hello, everyone. Hi, Namira. I wanted to come back. Hi, Namira. I wanted to come back on what you just said, Veronica, and try and just expand a little bit on it, if we may, which is the indigenous tribes, and we know European culture, etc., and others maybe, but what I find fascinating, what I did find fascinating many years ago, and I can't say it's across the board, but it was quite broad. It seemed very strange to me that in spiritualism, when I first came into spiritualism, a lot of people what was connecting with spirit, myself included, had and still have Native American Indian guides, and quite quickly I kind of smiled because I could see the irony in this. I thought, well, their lands was taken over. We know we can't say their land because the earth doesn't belong to anybody, but in that frequency, their lands was taken off them, and they was displaced, etc., etc. So it was ironic that some of the first guys, once they've gone to spirit, what come back, are the ones what are most connected to the earth and nature, encouraging people, inspiring people, and to develop a spiritual way of thinking. For years, I've laughed at this one. Years and years and years.
This takes, two sides to this. About maybe 8 years ago, I was inspired to do when I was doing some church services.
Yeah.
And I planned for the philosophy part of the service and all the rest of it. I was inspired to do a whole philosophy around that subject, and I actually wrote it down afterwards and everything. There was a whole series of them that I did at the time. And what was brought through for me to help me understand about this, because as you say, everybody's got a Native American Indian as a guide, or Cleopatra was a big one at one time as well, that everybody had Cleopatra as a guide, is that our human brains work in a certain way of interpreting information into familiar things. And one of the examples of that is when we see images of stuff, we try and make faces out of those images. It's a well-known psychological thing that our brains naturally look for the faces in things. It's built within our sort of mechanisms within the brain. And in the same way, our brains try and make sense of the energies that are coming in. And therefore, we have been brought up with a concept of what a Native American Indian philosophy, way of being, again, like the totem animals, it is, but also, you know, the archetype of Cleopatra and what she was like, or you know, a Celtic shaman, what they were like. We culturally hold these concepts within ourselves. So actually, when a guide comes in and they have certain attributes about them, our brain says, that fits in line with a Native American Indian. So that's your guide. Yeah. When actually all your guide is this collection of energies and collection of essences as such, and they operate with certain ways of being, and our brains associate that with, and it's like again, I was listening to a healing earlier on. Libby does trance healing on my group every Tuesday, and we record it beforehand because she's got another trance group afterwards, and it was about using the Christ energy. And again, that is an energy. It's not that it's Christ himself as such. It's actually because we have within our human brain an image, a concept, an understanding of what that Christ is, i.e. loving, giving, forgiving, all of those kind of attributes. And when somebody in the spirit world, being in the spirit world, comes with those vibrations of love, of higher energy, of looking above and understanding from a forgiving perspective and giving perspective and raising energy perspective, we can align ourselves conceptually to that Christ energy. And we, you know, you will hear people like Jason will say he's aligned with that Christ energy, and he is, because you can feel it. But what you're feeling is those levels of energy that are then by our brains being interpreted as Christ energy. But the same goes at every level within that, is that we are experiencing something, you know, right. The total other extreme is where people will say, oh, it's the devil and it's evil and all the rest of it. That is you as a person trying to conceptualize something that you don't know. Okay. Because your body is set up for a fight or flight reflex, that anything you don't know, your body will react to, either wanting to fight it or wanting to run away from it, and you get frightened, and that, you know, all the energy gets it. You're pounding and you're ready to run because you've got
the adrenaline kicks in.
Absolutely. And when your body does, especially when you're starting off as a medium, when your body doesn't recognize the energies that are coming in, it creates this reaction within you. And therefore you think this is evil, this is wrong, because it's making me feel frightened. It's getting all of this, as you said, adrenaline going, when actually it's probably your grandma. You know, if your grandma just don't know and understand that energy that is coming in, your body is reacting because it's not used to it. You're still developing, you're still trying to understand it, you're not sort of using your energies and all the rest of it, and suddenly you're thinking your grandma's the devil. Your poor grandmother in spirit saying, well, how am I going to get through here?
Did that one.
So when people sort of say about these evil spirits and all the rest of it, take a chill pill and actually, you know, work through, okay, I'm not understanding this energy that's coming through. Let's work with it. Let's see who this person actually is without the fear that my body's reacting, and let's work with it and work in the light and work in love, and the energy balances will work through, and you'll start to recognize, well, oh, hang on, this is Nan. I'm so pleased to see you again. I can feel you, I can love you, and I can, you know, you're here.
This is really good advice for people. Really good advice. It reminds me of when people are developing, opening up their psychic faculty and developing the mediumship side. Like all of us, we've had very little understanding of how our own mind works and our own field of energies. Absolutely. And then all of a sudden we come into a spiritual space, we start sensing specific, what we call energies, and you've just described it in almost a perfect way for me, because what we're looking at is often when some people will say, okay, I feel there's negative energy in this space, or I can feel this negative energy. And this, we've got to, I'm speaking broadly here, so there's room for all sorts going on. And then as they sense and feel the energies, they're getting nervous, they're getting apprehensive, and then they're getting a bit fearful over it. So that calmness, what you just described, is like, okay, let's see where that's coming from. Yeah. Because the mind is not used to self-analysis and observing itself, generally speaking, before people come into spiritualism. So then they go, and this is why, for me, it's really big, important thing that people, when they're developing mediumship, they equally develop their own self-awareness, their own mind. You know, absolutely. Because that's the one what's going to give the discernment and the understanding and knowledge and spiritual teaching, if you like, or spiritual awareness, that of what the difference is between spirit and our own mind. But in this case, what we seem to be looking at is often when people get a little bit fearful and go, okay, I'm sensing this feels really negative, I'm not comfortable with it. It's like, okay, let's put it in perspective here. We've got what we perceive as a light coming from the world of spirit. It's radiating, a soul what's coming close, and it's radiating, it's emitting light. And as it comes close to our auric field, we sense that light. But initially, we don't always sense it as light, or some people. What happens is that disturbs any old suppressed aspects, what they may be carrying. And the light's hitting it, bringing it to the surface, and in effect, what the person's feeling, the nervousness and the fear, is their own suppressed emotions and thoughts, what they've never kind of transformed, if you like, and cleared and let go of. So once the mind overcomes that barrier and goes, okay, I'm feeling this is mine, right, keep coming because I know there's a light there, that's the game changer for me. Yeah. You know, and I've heard it so many, and probably you've done the same. I've heard it so many occasions in the spiritual movement, and especially a lot of time in open circles. And people go, "That was negative. I don't like it." It's like, okay, that was spirit. That was beautiful light coming close. It's your own, I'll say, garbage, or what? It's not the right word, but their own insecurities and fears, etc., thoughts and emotions. What's clumped up inside them, the light's come, it's triggered it, brought it to the surface, and spirit's going, okay, when we come close, you're going to get healing anyway, because the light's going to do this to you, and eventually they start settling, exactly as you said. So I think this was a really good point.
And that's why so much of my awakening book is about shadow work, because it's key. If we don't understand ourselves, we can't understand spirit.
Correct. It's as simple as that. Know thy own mind, and work on it. I think, I mean, for me personally, one of the most beneficial things, which I don't want to say I've always done. I wish I could get different terminology, but I do it all the time, and it's self-analysis. Yep. Because by sitting in that state of self-analysis, we can contemplate. We can observe our own mind, look at the day, what we've said, the way we've acted, etc. And from that, we can change it because we're observing ourselves and go, okay, if we really are sincere and want to be that authentic being of light, which, you know, many proclaim the wish to be, then it's like, take the time out to do self-analysis each day. 10 minutes, 5 minutes, doesn't matter. And just go, okay, did I actually say the correct thing to this person, or blah, 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 and it's like, and what's happening at that point is we're seeing then, and I don't want to shift too far, we're starting to see then the blending between mindfulness and spiritual communication.
Absolutely.
And that clearing, the shadow work, brings clarity.
And you will find each of our totem animals, they have their shadow work focus as well.
There you go. There you go.
It's about, as I said from the beginning, these are awakening cards. They help that awakening process by helping you, prompting you to look at the specific things. It's like everybody says about they like dolphins, which are brilliant, because there's symbolism of joy and all the rest of it. But there's a massive amount of shadow work to do with dolphins, because it's about trust. That how much are people trusting, and vulnerability, and balancing that, and just looking at the obstacles that might be in the way with courage and things like that. So, thank you, Em. So, it's not a simple book, although it can be taken as a simple book, because what I've included as well is questions answered, because often, like with tarot cards, you sort of shuffle them and say, right, I want this question answered.
Yes.
Well, there's a question answer, just very simple one with these. So if I just click through and I've picked a porcupine, and the porcupine with that is be gentle with yourself and others while keeping protected. So if you had a question in mind at that point, that would help you at that point. So it's many layered. It can help you with that real deep work, or it can just help you on that day-to-day basis as well. I
just love listening to what you're saying and what you've just said about that, and giving that example what you just given. The vibration of its benefit is just beautiful. It's like somebody's going to read it and take that from it, because it obviously, or like so many times, it'd be perfect in that moment for the person what reads it. It'd be much needed in that moment for them. And using that one, which you did, the porcupine as an example, was absolutely beautiful. And you go, okay, there's the frequency again. It's like when that frequency of light, without expanding too far, that frequency of light is present even in written words and verbal language. The benefits are just, it astounds me on every occasion. It really does. I really hope that book is a success. So guys, you can, and the cards, and then to turn it into cards, I mean, because we've got people, we know people, and they've got like 100 packs of cards, and you go, why on earth have you got 100 packs? He's like, Colin, just like the cards. And we go, it is what it is. So anyway, I don't know whether there was any more questions. I want to say hello to some new ones if it's all right, because I think I might have missed one or two. I'm going to find all of that. So that doesn't work. So Lynn Boyd, hi Lynn, thanks for joining us. Iris, hello. Thank you for joining us. Neva, hi Neva. Hope you're doing well. Marion Harris, we've had the question, beautiful question. And to everybody, and M, I think that's Melody. Numera, most people find me strange because of spirituality, and I do meditation. That's okay for me. Welcome to the club, Numera.
Absolutely.
It's like,
we're there with you.
We are. Numeric, just keep going, because you're on the right track anyway. You don't need, clearly you've got spirit guiding you, and you're aware that they're guiding you. So whatever you do, please just keep going. I love that comment. People find me strange because of spirituality, and I do meditation. I think, chucking this in there, I think meditation is the new religion. Mm-hmm. And I don't think it will be called a religion, because that will be gone anyway. That word will be gone. But I think that will be, it's clear. There's, I don't know, hundreds of millions or billions now starting to meditate. But I also, just quickly, because we've got, where's she gone? Lucy, no, what was it? Tanya, Lamb. I presume you got Lamb in the book.
Yes, I have.
There you go. Thought I'd ask for you, Tanya. So yeah, it's in.
Just show you. Lamb is about, just let me try and get the image for you. It's because I've got a background on. Yeah, it's about, lamb is always the symbolism of his innocence. Yeah. Oh,
that's okay. Do you want to read it to us, that section?
Yeah. Our archetype is innocence, as I said, represents purity, gentleness, and vulnerability, symbolizing sacrifice and a connection to community. So straight away with the reading with that, Tanya. Sorry, Colin, Eva, could you keep Tanya's comment up there, because it just helps me with the connection there, because I was starting to link in with that. That I feel that there's, what's going on with you at the moment, Tanya, is that you're feeling sacrifices are needing to be made to be enabled to be in a community, and you're questioning where the balance is between the sacrifices and the belonging of the community. Okay, symbolic meaning is the lamb represents innocence, gentleness, and peace, and remind us of the importance of purity in thought and action, and the power of vulnerability as a strength, because we can often forget that actually being open and being what often can be seen as weak is actually a strength, because we're allowing ourselves, we're not fighting against others, we're strong within ourselves, so we don't need to fight. Okay. And with each of the totem animals, there's the archetype symbolic meaning, journal prompt. This is where the awakening help comes in. So when you're doing your daily journal, the prompt with the lamb is, when have you felt purity in your intentions or actions? How do you trust and vulnerability plays a role in your relationships? So it's about thinking how your intentions in relationships are playing through. So are you actually getting what you want out of relationships through intention, or are you actually diverting that relationship by having an intention that is actually contrary to that evolvement of a relationship as such? So the shadow work following from that is moving beyond passive trust and cultivating boundaries to balance innocence with empowerment. So it's again looking at that balance in your life between empowering you, but where's the boundaries? Yeah, where somebody's pushing. Questions answered. Keep your intentions pure. And affirmation, again, to help you through the day. What if I could find peace and strength in my innocence and gentleness? So it's not being afraid to express to others your innocence and your gentleness. You don't always have to be strong. Okay.
Love it. So, guys, it looks like the energy's moved and there's some reading started coming forward. As always, spirit always have their own plan. Ava, thank you so much. Tanya, I hope you can see that, because Ava's put up the Monarchic Consciousness group. You can see Tanya was asking for the link. I think it was Tanya. Somebody was asking for the link to the book. So Ava's just put it up there. It's in the chat. There you go. Thank you. Okay. Let me just find out. Lynn, I live in a part of the world where there are lots of wild animals. I've taken a few little wild rabbits. I have taken to a few little wild rabbits that come into our yard. I swear that I can understand what I'm saying to them. I bet they can, Lynn. But my spiritual animal is the elephant. one of the most spiritual feelings that I have ever had was looking into the eye of a red elephant. Please, can you tell me about the elephant? So, Veronica, let's get the book out. Yes.
Well, there's your elephant. Okay, isn't he gorgeous? Absolutely gorgeous.
Yours.
And he's all about ancestral memories, ancestral wisdom. Okay, it's taking that herd of the past and that family, because elephants are incredibly family focused. Okay, so it's what is your ancient wisdom guiding you forward to. All right, and if it's about a question, you just remember your roots. You know, where have you come from? What is your history and your family history pushing you forward with? And Lynn, I know that you're a medium, and I know that you will have had mediums in the family, and it's about that ancestral memory, and it's linking into that ancestral memory with your mediumship and taking that forward as a sort of a wise elephant role, wise woman, that archetypal wisdom keeper. Okay, and that's your elephant, that you are holding the wisdom of your family, you are holding the wisdom of that whole cultural element of the mediumship going forward.
Beautiful. There you go. Thank you, Veronica. Thank you, Lynn. I did have something on elephants, Lynn, but I forgot. Sorry, just kidding. Memory like an elephant.
Funny boy.
Oh, that went flat.
Cat.
Go on, sorry.
Oh,
cat.
It's really struggling with this. Cat.
Yeah,
there
you go.
Cat is very much obviously home-based, but at the same time is very independent. They're quite contradictory in that way, because cats have this real strong independent streak, and no matter what, you can't train it. Well, they say you can't train a cat, but you can with lots of treats and stuff. But you know, but at the same time, they love the home, and it's about sort of between those worlds and feeling that balance. Do cats feel your emotions? Of course they do. Any animal that you are attached to feels your emotions. They will feel your emotions much stronger than any human will, because humans live in their own heads, while the animals that are attached to us, like our cats, our dogs, parrots, gerbils, rats are brilliant pets, very intelligent, very intuitive animals, then that they will have a direct affinity with your emotions and feel your emotions for you and react to you from that. Okay. In terms of questions answered, Marianne, I feel drawn to saying about trust your instinct, develop your magic. Okay.
Yeah, definitely.
That's what the question answered on that one is.
Just quickly on this, Marianne. Yeah, I in agreement with what Veronica's saying. More intensely than other animals that's an interesting comment, to be honest, because it raises another question. Different animals having different points of resonance or different awareness and sensitivity. I suppose at some point, like humans, we never know who. Well, we can't say we never know, but there's a point where we can sense the energies of somebody, and to the degree where they're open with their spiritual vibrations, so to speak. Okay, so I presume it's the same with the animal kingdom. Some will be more sensitive on different levels than others. So I would leave that completely wide open, that last part, more intensely than others. But obviously cats, 100%. That's like, I don't know. They make me laugh, cats do. It's like, you know, they watch you like a hawk. They're so hypersensitive and clear. Lisa, speaking of cats, I often work with a Black Panther spirit. Oh, there you go, Lisa.
There's the Black Panther.
There you go.
And the Black Panther is a shadow walker. So he's about healing past trauma. So Lisa, I know that you're at a point where you're really trying to work with trauma that's happened in the past, and you're trying to work through that and go forward with all of that past trauma. Okay, because he's very much by your side, helping with that healing, but also that understanding of where that trauma's come from. And that's where your shadow work really needs to go now, because you can't work with shadow work unless you've got a level of strength within you. Okay, you've been building up that strength, you're ready to do that work now. Okay.
Yeah.
Namira asked about how do you know your spirit animal. It's not as working with spirit animals is actually quite complex, because you can have a spirit animal that you kind of work with all of your life, and people will say they have a familiar, witches would call them familiars, that would be with them their whole life. And different cultures, the Native American Indians, they would have an animal assigned to them at birth, kind of thing, and that would follow them through life. But then there are beliefs that actually there are animals that will accompany you at certain periods of your life, depending upon what was happening. And that they will change according to your needs at the time. Or you can even have just animals for the day, because you're going into a meeting, it's going to be a really difficult meeting, and you either need the owl that will help you just be passive and watch and have that deep wisdom about it, or you can have the bear where you're going in with the aggression and no, this has got to be da 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 da. And it depends. You can use those in different ways and use the energies with them. So it's not as straightforward as knowing what your spiritual animal is. If you're really keen to look at it, you can actually meditate on that and ask you for a spirit animal to be assigned to you, or you can just open yourself up. One of the things I've got on my website on Find Me a Medium, if you look at the totem animal page, is that when you go onto the page, it automatically brings you up randomly at the 129 animals, an animal. Okay, and that's your animal for that period of time, because me and
it's like pick a card, isn't it?
It is. It's absolutely, but electronically, it just randomly assigns one of the 129 animals to you, and what you need to be looking at and working on at that point. Okay, so there's lots of different ways of doing it. Okay.
Beautiful, Veronica. Beautiful. Right. So I'm just going to jump in here. They certainly do, Marion. I've seen it many occasions. Now then, let's go back to Namira, if we can, in that question. It's okay if you can't bring it up. Thank you so much, Marion. How do you know what spiritual animals? Well, you've got the door open for you already, Namira, in your last, in one of the previous comments, with your meditation. By meditating and going further into your meditation, deeper, more ascended, whichever route you're taking, it's very likely you'll reach a point or reach a frequency within the meditation where your animal guide will show themselves to you. So watch for that. And that's so you've got, use the cards, pick one for the day, or do your meditation and let them step forward. Thank you. And then I wanted to go to Lisa, because I wanted to flip with Lisa. Hi, Lisa. Thank you so much. Lovely to see you, Lisa. Now then, the Black Panther. Woof. Totally agree with what Veronica's saying about the shadow work with the Black Panther. But I also want to put another angle on it, which is, I'm going to say it. I would consider yourself quite blessed with a Black Panther, because the Black Panther is really one of the strong power animals of protection. for somebody who's on their spiritual path and going deep. And this goes along with what Veronica was saying, with you going deep into your shadow work, but also having the mindset and the ability and capacity. And I'm going to bring previous lives in here, from your previous lives, giving you the strength you've got in this life to do your spiritual work. Your Black Panther is really, I would say, very powerful as you're going forward and making sure that anything what would try to knock you off your path or distract you from your path, that power animal will make sure it doesn't happen. So for some reason, I wanted to put that in on this one. Yes, yeah. I can't say too much. Right then, anyway. Hello, Francis. That makes sense. I have different animals I see more often, but oftentimes I see a wildlife park around. All the times I see a wildlife park around me. Do you see the park, or do you see all the animals in the park, Francis? Lovely to have you with us, by the way. Francis, just before we say anything else, Francis does the most amazing crystal grids, and she does it on Menorca Consciousness Group. We also have moon phase, what's called a moon phase community, and they meet up often regarding the moon, the phases, and the different aspects and energies moving, etc. We had one last night, and during the moon phase, or during the meetings, Francis, thank you very much, does a crystal grid to set intentions and manifestations, etc. So if anybody's interested, pop on to have a look for our, and we've got a Facebook group, Moon Phase Community on Facebook. You're more than welcome to join it, anybody who's interested, but it's all based on the moon phases, nothing else. Well, we can't say nothing else because it's all interconnected, isn't it? You know, okay then.
And so that's absolutely perfect, because the crystal grids fit perfectly with the wildlife park, because what you're doing with the crystal grid is working with the different levels of energies. And when you think of the animals as energies, that's exactly the same thing. So replace crystal with an animal. I can bet that when Francis works with the crystals, if she then extends that and says, right, which crystal aligns with which animal, she will naturally be able to link different crystals with different animals, because you're working with the energies, and that's what we're talking about ultimately.
Let's ask her right now. Shall we ask her? Let's ask her right now. Francis, as an example, can you tell us one of your crystals and what you think, which totem animal it connects with? Amelia's on. Hi, Amelia. Amelia Mills. Yeah. Lovely to have you with us. Thanks for joining us. Hope you're both well. Yes, hope you are too, as well. Great to have you with us.
You see, straight away, I'm linking in with Spirit and saying, come on, help me with this. Black Ascidium, you were talking about Black Panthers, Black Ascidium and the Black Panther.
There you go. Black Ascidium then, with the Black Panther. Woof, Francis will come back to us on that one, I'm sure she will. Raxus, ciao. Hi, Raxus. I knew it, Amelia. Lovely to see you. Oh, do you know what? There's the most beautiful people in this space, isn't there? And Amelia is one of them. Absolutely amazing. Anyway, any more questions? Any final things we've got? We can give it what? We've got another 5-10 minutes. What do you think?
I've got to do Nico's live at 9 o'clock.
Right then, we're out of here. Okay, guys, thank you. Oh, Francis.
Francis is back. Yeah, there we are. Black Leopard, not Black Panther, but Black Leopard, same thing. Who's with definitely Black Obsidian. So that's why you're seeing a wildlife part there, Francis, because basically your crystals are your animals. It's just well, it's the same energy, but your brain interpreting different things from that same energies.
Thank you, Francis. So thank you everybody so much. You're cheering for Nico, is that correct?
Yeah, do you mind me advertising it?
Oh, come on, that's what I was going to ask you. Oh, yes. Thank you.
If you want to come on and have some live readings, we've got Nico, who is doing evidential mediumship tonight at 9 o'clock on my group Online Live Psychic Readings. So pop across either on YouTube. YouTube is at Find Me a Medium, and Facebook is Online Live Psychic Readings. That's 9 o'clock UK time. And you
20 minutes.
Just say hi, that you're here. Let me know that you're there, and we'll post your comments up and etc.
So that's in 20 minutes. That's in 20 minutes, guys. Jump over to Online Psychic Readings with Veronica and Nico. Bless him. I want to say a big, huge happy birthday to Nancy Maratella in America. I'll be jumping over there for it's her birthday, and they're doing a live stream with Jennifer Rose. By the way, speaking of Jennifer Rose, we've got a live chat on Friday with Jennifer Rose. We're calling it Tripping the Light Fantastic. And it's a chat and question and answer. So that's going to be quite interesting. We have got this coming Sunday. We've got several things coming up, but on Sunday, we've got a Kundalini activation workshop. I'm not keen on calling them activations, but it'll be in there somewhere. And we'll be going through, it's from 3 till 8 p.m. So it is a workshop. And we've changed the times so it's suitable for people in America, Canada, etc. if they want to join us. We've got a mediumship course coming up very soon, starting very soon. And we've got something quite special, which is a which is a new course, and it will be together. We're doing it both simultaneously. And it will be trance mediumship and trance healing. So we'll be swapping over between the trance healing. There won't be an overlap between them both. It'll be, part trance healing from one side of the group, and then they'll swap over and do trance healing for the others, etc. And then we'll incorporate the trance mediumship. And that's going to be a new course, blah, blah, blah. And I know we've got Ascension workshop coming up. I've run out of stuff because we've got that many things coming up, and I can't remember. Veronica, absolutely loved it. Thank you so much for joining us and taking the time to join us. Ascending Universal Butterfly, thank you for joining us. I'm going to try and squeeze in at some point, guys, a live question and answer session in the coming weeks, because I know people are now starting to ask more questions. Hopefully we can also invite Jennifer. That's because I'm seeing Jenkins. Veronica, hopefully we can invite you lot doing my head. There's that many same names, isn't there? Hopefully we can invite Veronica back, and she'll say yes to us at some point in the future when she can squeeze it in. And let's see. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for Ava for firing away and being on the ball with all these questions and text and setting this whole space up, because I haven't got a clue. Lisa, lovely to have you with us. Beautiful. And I think that's about it. So lots of love to everybody. Please, guys, whatever you do, spirit with you. You know that. Check out Veronica's online spiritual services, etc. All of it. Just get yourselves over there. Whatever you do, we know the change is here. Stay safe, stay strong, and stay close to spirit. And keep that love and light inside you. And dissolve any fear you've got. And just trip the light fantastic. So with that, thank you for everybody. And we'll see everybody soon. Lots of love to you all. Thank you, Namira. Lovely to see you. Thanks for joining us. So thank you, Ava.